Hello and welcome to Time Management for Busy People. We're going to share skills today all about time management and how we can use our time as best we can in 2023. This year is just winding up so very quickly. So let's start to get ready for the new year. I'm just letting some more people in as they come about as well. Admit those in, but welcome. Thanks so much for joining me. Please pop in the chat where you're joining us from. We'd love to see where you are. I think we've got people all around the world at the moment, which is fabulous. We Mary Lou, thank you for joining us today. Mary Lou's my virtual assistant and an awesome help to me. She puts all of these workshops and the activities and events that we do on Eventbrite, and that shares it all around the world, and it's absolutely amazing that who we have and where they're from. So let us know, who are you, where are you joining us from, and what are you looking to learn today? We've only got an hour today. Some of our workshops are very interactive. This one's not going to be so much today. I'm going to share lots of things with you, lots of tips, and our sharing will be mostly done through the chat. If we have some time at the end, I will take questions, but overall I'll be presenting today and looking forward to your participation through the chat. So as I said, if you can introduce yourself in the chat box, let us know where you're joining us from and what you are looking for help with today. What sort of challenges have you got with your time management? So let's get on going. Here I am. I'm Julie Cliff. I'm a declutter coach and professional organizer. I call myself a professional organizer when I'm hands-on working with my clients in their homes. I do that each and every day, not the weekends. I try not to work on the weekend, although I do have a client on Saturday morning for a couple of hours, I'm just remembering, but generally 9 to 5 each day, hands-on help, decluttering and organizing homes. But I also call myself a declutter coach when I'm in this sort of situation, workshops and events that we run online. So I'm learning and teaching and sharing the skills. I'm coaching you on your skills and your ability so you can go and do your own decluttering, because I really believe that you can, just with a few little tips, and we're going to share some of them today in relation to time management. I'm an executive assistant and administrator by trade, and did that for many, many years before starting my business almost 8 years ago. So love helping people get and stay organized. That was in an office environment to start with, but now more in people's homes. Have a couple of boys, one's having a bit of a snooze at the moment because he's on holidays, lucky guy, and the other one's at school, and my husband has headed off to work already today as well. So that's who I am, and as I said, I love to help people declutter and organize their homes, and particularly teach them the skills that they can do it as well. I'm not a particularly naturally organized person myself. As a younger person, always in a rush, trying to do lots of things at once and just stuff things, here and there, and run off to do the next thing. But then when I would come back, I would go, oh, that's a big mess. And it was overwhelming. So I learnt to put things back in their permanent homes properly the first time, so that we can, so the things are a bit neater and tidier. So if I can learn the skills, you can as well. I'm just having a look at our the chat here. Mary Lou, as I said, is my VA, and she's from the Philippines. Thanks, Mary Lou, as always, for your help. And Fatima says, hello, nice to see you, Fatima. Thanks for coming. If you are here and online with us, please. Oh, and Sana says she's in Oregon. I think it's a she. Sorry, I'm just assuming that, from joining us from Oregon. So if you're from anywhere else in the world, let us know who you are and where you're joining us from, what you are looking to learn. Thank you, Steve. Great to see you here. He's in Denver, Colorado. So I assume it's all evening for a lot of you guys, and I'm just starting my day here. So what to expect today? So we are going to have a good look at where all our to-dos come from. Why are we so busy? Why don't we have enough time? And why do we struggle managing our time. We also have a look at some ways to prioritize and stay focused on the important tasks. We want to structure our week to suit our energy and to come up with a nice flow to our week rather than just running around like a headless chook. We want to have it a little bit more of space and a little bit more breathing time, so that you're not getting to the end of the week exhausted and you're not getting to the end of the week and going, oh my gosh, my list is just as long as when I started the week. We also want to make being organized a part of our everyday life. It's not just something we do every now and then, or we declutter every now and then, and every 6 months we might have a go. It's really something we need to work on each and every day. So we'll share some skills around that. And also really having a good think, and we are literally going to do that for a couple of minutes very shortly, about how would you like to spend your time? What are some of those important things you should be focusing on? And what would you like your day, your weeks, your months, your years to look like? Share that in the chat so that we can be on the journey together and sharing the information that's going to help you going forwards. So as I said, we are literally going to take 3 minutes now to think about how you are currently using your time. So having think about some of the things we're doing, how you're feeling, what your spaces are looking like around you, and how would you like to feel and have your spaces look and have your diary and your calendar look going forward. So I'm going to put my trusty timer on here for 3 minutes. It has started. And I'm going to give you 3 minutes now to have a think about how you currently use your time, how you would like to use it, and please share some of that in the chat. Yeah, that would have been before you went through them. Okay. We might even cut it a little bit short because 3 minutes seems like a long time when you're waiting and you've got lots of things to say. So let's give it another 30 seconds and then we'll keep moving. And thank you, Lynn. Lynn's already shared some things in the chat. Feeling disorganized by going room to room and starting projects and not finishing. There's so many are left undone and in a mess. Help. All right, we'll talk about some strategies there to get that sort of thing going and get a little bit more structure perhaps to your time and your projects that you're working on. So we'd love to hear how anybody else is feeling about their time and how they're using it and what they want it to look like. I mentioned before we started that I was just writing myself a list of things to do today. You know, there are only 168 hours in a week. So it is important to remember that we don't have a lot of time to be able to do things. By the time we sleep, we feed ourselves and go to work. You know, I've got hands-on work with my client, like I said, well, that leaves very little time for other bits and pieces. So I'll tell you some tips about getting those other things done, but I really do only have a short amount of things that I need to get done today after this session. And I hope that you can follow my lead today as well afterwards by understanding those important things and getting them done to free you up to just be doing and focusing on those things. And Fatima says procrastinating things and doing only urgent tasks. Urgent tasks sounds like a good way to do it. Let's get them done, but perhaps not worry and think about them for too long that they all get urgent. So great, let's think about that. Thanks, Fatima, as we are sharing as we go along today and thinking about those priorities and how to set them. So as always, continuing to follow on my space and time organizing system. These are 6 steps that I put in order in this sequence for a reason, because they seem to make a lot of sense and really resonate with my clients, and it helps give some good structure to the information that I'm passing on to people. So we're going to follow this structure as well today. Literally SYSTEM. Stop the stuff from coming in the front door in the first place. And today, of course, it will be stopping putting more things on our to-do list. We're going to look at your commitment to being organized. Then we're going to sort the stuff. Then we're going to let go of the things that we no longer need. The 5th step is easy storage for our to-do items, and we'll be looking at putting them in a diary or an online calendar, something like that. And then the maintenance tools. How can we make being organized a part of our daily life? So they are the 6 steps that we're going to go through in a little bit more detail. Now, starting with step number 1, stop the stuff. So what is the big deal of having too much stuff? The big deal is having too much stuff being things to do we're talking about today, not necessarily our physical stuff. We'll talk about that again in the new year, because this is our last one for the year. Having too many things on our to-do list can be overwhelming, a bit like Fatima says, that she's procrastinating, just overthinking things, not getting to things on time, and then getting the urgent things done, which is good. As I said, let's get those urgent things done. But really being mindful that there are only 168 hours in a week. We really want to be mindful of the putting more things on our to-do list. You know, why do we have so much on? Really thinking hard about that. And I hope when we had that couple of minutes at the start of the session, you were thinking about how you're spending your time. It's very easy to sort of just get caught down rabbit holes, Googling things or Facebook, or it might even be seems really important stuff like Googling or researching for something, but all of a sudden you end up down a rabbit hole and you've, the time has just flown by. So we really want to be mindful of that in this first step, which is stopping the stuff, stopping adding more things for our to-do list, and being mindful of where all those to-dos come from. And a good way to stop more stuff from getting on your to-do list is to practice saying no. And a number of people over the last few weeks have reminded me when we've been running these workshops is that no is a complete sentence. Somebody asks you to do something, of course, we need to consider it if it's at work or your boss is asking you to do it or whatever it might be. But there are a lot of things that we can actually make a choice and we can say no. We don't need to justify. We don't need to say, oh, I haven't got time to do it, or, haven't got time right now. It's just, no, I can't help you with that. And you don't, as I said, don't need to explain, don't need to justify. No is a complete sentence. So I'd love for you to practice that, whether the kids want to go and do something, whether your husband or your wife, your partner, your spouse, whoever it is asking you to do extra things that aren't so important to you and not on your important list, we can practice saying no. And we'd love to hear from you if you could share in your chat what will not go on your to-do list in the future. What is something you can say no to and let go of? Is it a book club that you're really just not enjoying anymore and could spend more time doing your artwork that you'd like to do? Or is there something else that's taking up a lot of your time that you could say no to, free up more time? Because we really want to stop adding more things to our list. And we really, at times, can end up busy for busy's sake, not just because we are busy, But because society expects us to be busy and sitting down and doing nothing is seen to be lazy. So we need to challenge that, because we really do need to sit and rest and recharge so that we are the best that we can do, best that we can be, so we can do the best that we can do. So we'd love to hear, what are you going to say no to? And how can we stop adding more things to our to-do list so that just the important things are on there? I often make a list at times and then cross half of them off and decide that we're not going to do that. All right, we're going to duck into the second step, step number 2, which is your commitment to being organized. And that is explaining that there is no magic wand. Being organized takes time and commitment, focus and persistence. The magic time fairy is not going to come along and say, you are now organized. And now that you've done, or in the process of doing, and at the end of this hour, we'll have done this workshop, you will certainly have learnt some skills, but you need to put them into practice. You need to implement them. You need to start making some changes and start doing some things that organized people do for you to continue to be organized. And today's workshop is fun to do, but we really want to be able to implement what we're learning today. And this step follows very nicely with that first step that we did, which was getting clear on what we don't want to do. Let's stop more things from coming on our to-do list. And so we can stay focused, we can stay committed on those important things. We're going to spend a little bit more time in the next step, setting some more priorities and knowing how we can do that. But this step is really, again, explaining that it does take time and commitment and focus to be an organized person. I'm often early for appointments because I really find it difficult to arrive right on time. I was very cheeky this time last week. I was picking up my staff member Doreen and going on a shopping trip for one of our clients. And I thought, I'm going to get to Doreen's right on time. I'm going to challenge myself and see if, rather than get to her house early, if I could get there right on time. Well, I pulled out the driveway as I thought I would need to do and turned around the corner, and there was a big bus at the school across the road from our house blocking the road, and I was stuck there for quite a few minutes. So I ended up, I think, a couple of minutes late, which is very late for me. So as I'm trying to explain, getting somewhere right on time is a difficult thing to do. So we need to make those plans, put things in place and be committed and focused to being organized. So you want to be on time, you want to have a nice flow to your week, you want to get those important things done. Perhaps you're going to need to start making some changes on how you're doing things so that we can do that and be very clear on what we're trying to achieve. As we started at this session, really having a good think about what we want our life to look and feel like. If you don't mind running around like a headless chook, you find it fun and you think it's exhilarating, well, go ahead. But if you're a little bit like many of my clients, they're overwhelmed, they're exhausted, they just haven't got any energy, then we might want to, as I said, make some changes to how we're doing things and deliberately make the choices as to what we say yes to and what we say no to. Would also love to hear your thoughts. Well, when in the week is a good time for you to sit down and make a regular planning time for your week? So if we're going to get committed to being focused and organized, I'm going to share a little bit more on looking at future plans coming up in one of the next steps. But start thinking, start planting those seeds. When would be a good review time for you to have a look at your week and make those plans? I often do that on a Sunday. I'll sit down and have a look at the week coming up so that I can plan it out nicely and make sure I've got enough time to get between my clients, have a little break in between, have some lunch and those sorts of things. So what do you want your week to look like? Again, it's got to be deliberate. Otherwise, it won't happen at all. The third step in the space and time organizing system is sort the stuff. So we want to sort out our to-dos and understand which ones are the important ones. And so sorting and prioritizing this one is, first thing I think is a great way to do this is just to get them all out of your head. You can just use a piece of paper and do a big write down all the ideas, or we can use a brain dump like this. One of my pages that I've got on the my website, Mary Lou, you might have the link or might not have the link for that brain dump page. Otherwise, as you can see, it's just a page with some lines on it to go through and be able to get everything out of your head. And then we can start to think and tweak and decide which of those important things. So just, as I say, get it out of your head and let's start sorting it. And some of these to-dos might include making sure we've got things to do for yourself, your me time, which is I get up early in the morning and I do a bit of aerobics. I'm just watching YouTube. 3 times a week I'll go for a run. The other days I go for a walk and then some stretching afterwards. And that's all before anybody else in the house gets up. So that really is my me time. So going through and allocating that time to your diary, which we're going to do in the next step. But here we are, just sorting those ideas, all those brain dumps that we wrote down, all our work, all the business things that we need to do if you're like me and run your own business. Don't forget about all the domestic duties. They don't just happen with the blink of an eye either. All the tasks involved in the washing, the groceries, the meal prep and the cleaning, and all your family commitments too. You might have elderly parents, or you might have small children, you might have old children, whatever those family commitments are, their sports and those sorts of things. So if we can start to get everything out of our head in that brain dump, you can start to sort of put them in these categories as well, can help to group them and to sort them and to prioritize them. And sometimes when we see it all out on a list, it's really quite confronting. And again, we're reminding ourselves we only have 168 hours in a week, and we can start to cross some things off. Or otherwise, when we get to the next step as well, we're going to see how we can delegate and outsource some of those tasks. But I really love this step here, is sorting this stuff, is getting it out, looking at it and really making clear and decisive choices about, does that deserve to be on your to-do list? Does it deserve to spend time on it? Because of course, if you're spending time on one thing, that means that you're not spending time on another. So it really is quite a balancing act, isn't it, to put the week together. So I'd love to see your thoughts so far in the chat on all those things that are in your mind, all those things that are on your to-do list, maybe in the brain dump. We'd love for you to share with us what's coming up for you and how you're feeling looking at that big long list there. But really is a great way to be able to get things out of your head. So now that we've got it out of our head, let's see what we can let go of. This is step 4, which is things you no longer need. This is the decluttering step. So let's ask ourselves a few questions and see what we can outsource, automate, or delegate. If you're lucky enough to have little people in your household that can take on some of these things, whether it might be some of the household chores around the house, looking after pets, all the sorts of things that they can help you out with, as well of course, not just helping you out, can learn the skills of managing those things around the home. That would be great if you could allocate and delegate to them. And also, what other tasks around the house can your spouse or your partner help out with? If you haven't got a spouse or partner, well, there are other options outside of the house to be able to get some help as well, like your neighbours, friends, work colleagues. And don't forget to yell out and ask when you need help. Can be very difficult, but we need to put our big girl pants on sometimes and just put our hands up and say, oh, you know, would you mind picking up the kids from swimming this week? Because I've got to stay at work a little bit longer. I know we find it difficult to ask for help, but we would be very willing to help somebody else if they were asking us for assistance. So let's call out when we need help as well. And we already talked about what can we say no to, can we completely and utterly just go, no, I don't have time for that anymore. I'm going to cross it off. I'm going to get my big fat black texter. Here it is in my pocket that I always carry around to my clients. I'm just going to go straight through that and not have to worry about it anymore, which can free up some space. So really want in this step to be able to outsource and automate and delegate things that you yourself don't need to do. And don't forget that automating step as well. Perhaps you can set up your bills, your utility bills, your phone bill, anything that you need to pay like that, pay it automatically or by direct debit. So that's happening without any interaction from you at all. Depending on your cash flow, it might be a bit tricky. I know some of my clients do like to be able to see the bill, check they've got the money in the bank to be able to do that. But if you are lucky enough to have the option of paying things automatically like that, you know, we can have renewals for different things to do with the car or school fees, those sorts of things that it just happens automatically and you don't even need to think about it. Such a time changer, time saver, and time changer as well. I don't know what that is, but I think it still fits. So we're looking at, as I said, decluttering unimportant tasks from our calendar so that we can free up our time for activities of our choice. Let's get rid of the things we don't want to do, put more things on that we do want to do. I'm just going to have a look. Thank you, Mary Lou, for that brain dump download. If anyone would like to print themselves a few copies of that, that will help you just get everything out of your head. Katrin says, I find the idea of meal prep excellent, but certainly underestimate how long it takes. Often forget the shopping and transit associated with it and how long it takes to chop and clean following prepping chicken and those sorts of things. That you are so true, Katrin, that we probably a good idea to do a little bit of an audit for something like that, like you're suggesting. We'll get to sit down and make the meal plan or your meal and recipe and food list for the week, like our menu for the week, and then all of the shopping list. And we've got to travel to the shop, the time that takes, then go to the shop and do the shopping, drive home again, and then unpacking. And I'm being very clever in recent years. I do all of my shopping and get it home when everybody else in the household is also here and they all help put it away. I reckon it would save me about an hour. Everybody's helping out. So see if you can all get that on your list and your weekly plan. Get everybody in your household to help packing up. But you're right. And you've done all that, Katrin, before you've even chopped up the chicken and the veggies and started things underway. So this is exactly what I'm saying, that things take much more time than we realize. So thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that, because it's an excellent example of how we need to allocate that sort of thing in our diary to make time for it. All right, let's keep on moving. Where are we with the next one? Keep sharing your examples of how you use your time and what some of your little tips are too. We'd love to hear some ideas. And here's a few more questions to ask ourselves if you're still really not very clear on your priorities, everything still seems urgent, and we're trying to get more things off of our list. Ask yourself some of these priority setting questions. You know, does this take me closer to my goal? So I'm just looking at my to-do list. I said, I need to reorder some new business cards. Don't I, Mary Lou? That's been on my list for weeks. And I do need to order more business cards. And I need them today. I'm going to an event and there's 60 people there, but unfortunately I don't have 60 business cards left. So I should have done that a couple of weeks ago when I first put it on my list. But does it take me closer to my goal? Yes, that would have taken me closer to my goal, because I would have my cards to hand out to this networking event that I'm going to at lunchtime today. But anyway, I will get around it. I'll send them a text or take the few cards that I have left. Another question you can ask yourself, does this lighten my mental load? So again, you can look at that brain dump list. You can ask yourself the question, does this lighten my mental load? Something else that is on my list here is to record our 10 days of decluttering. We've got a 10-day decluttering challenge coming up in January. Will that lighten my mental load? Yes, when I get those videos done, which Mary Lou's written the scripts and everything. I just need to tidy up the kitchen and find my light. I'm not sure where my video recording light has gone, and get up there and record them. So as you can see, you can ask yourself these questions related to your list that you've got in front of you and see how this helps you out. Of course, another one could be, which of all these tasks will give me the highest payoff or make you the most money, particularly if you're running your own business, like ordering business cards or sending out my invoices. Definitely sending out my invoices, which I need to do, will make me more money at this stage, at this second, than ordering more business cards. So if I was pushed for time, I'd definitely send out my invoices. So I hope some of these questions might be relevant to you and helping you decide which are important. And the last one being there, ask yourself, if today I could only do 3 or 4 tasks of value that would make a real impact, what would they be? So hopefully some of these priority setting questions may be helpful. And of course, don't forget, what would you outsource, automate, or delegate? Let us know again in the chat. What are you looking forward to saying no to and getting off of your to-do list completely? Now I'm going to move on to step 5. We're making good time. We may have some time for questions at the end. If you have any questions during the session as well, pop it in the chat. So as we said, step 5 in the space and time organizing system is easy storage. Now, this is easy storage for our to-do items. If I'm in a pantry, of course, it would be easy storage for the items in the pantry, but we're relating it to time management today. So we're looking at how we keep these important things front of mind that we want to focus our time on, and we want to actually get the tasks done. So once we've asked ourselves all those questions from the previous screen and we've automated and delegated, hopefully we have a shorter list to do. So this next step in the easy storage is to actually allocate time in your diary to get the tasks done. Again, just because you've got a beautiful list, you've written it up, you've typed it up, you've got it in, a task manager, just because you've got that list there doesn't mean it's automatically going to tick itself off. You need to take action now and get those tasks done. And one of the only ways I know of doing that is to allocate time to do it. Before I ran this session, Mary Lou sent me a message and said, I think you might be recording videos for Ingrid. And I said, yes, I am, because she could see it in my diary and she knew that that was the task that I was working on at that time. So I wanted to be able to get that job done for Ingrid. The little video I was recording about her retreat, and it was in the diary. So put these important tasks in your diary. To be interested as well, as we're going along today, pop in the chat, are you a paper or an electronic diary person? I'm a tiny bit of both. I absolutely can't live without my electronic diary. I use Google Calendar, and Mary Lou has access to it as well, so she can see where I am. But I always print it out. Just thought this has actually gone on 3 pages this week. We've got lots of things happening, but I print it out and have it beside me so I can squiggle on it and make changes and notes as we're going through the week and tick things off. I love going, oh, yep, did that, did the video for Ingrid, tick, off it goes. But how about you guys? Are you paper or electronic? What have we got? Lynn says paper. Sana says both. Nice one. Katrin says, I'm an electronic person, as I like to send invites to my partner. Yes, via email to their calendar. Yes, please do that and ask them to please come and wash the floor or wash the dog, or get them to help out with tasks as well. And also another paper diary person then. So good on you. I'd love to see the different things that people do. And people, as I do a combination of both. I love the electronic one. I just can get sidetracked sometimes. And different things remind me, they come up, like I've got here, that I've got the lunch, the networking event at 12 o'clock has come up as a reminder. Also to film the video for Ingrid that I mentioned. Hey, Mary Lou, I did that this morning, and that we've got the this on, so they'll all come up in reminders from my Google Calendar. Oh, it's gone from my Google Calendar today. So and I do action them as they come up. That's the other thing. You don't just let it buzz and annoy you. You take action as those notifications and appointments are popping up, so that I don't have to remember in my mind. Started doing that a very long time ago, particularly when the kids were small and they'd have library day or sports day or something like that, and they'd need to take special equipment to school. Now that they're older, they tend to sort of look after that sort of thing themselves. But I would go, oh, okay, it's Tuesday, library day, I'll get their book. And that can be a tricky thing to remember when you're making the lunches, you're getting up, you're getting yourself some breakfast and all those bits that happen on a busy school morning. So those notifications that pop up are awesome. So highly recommend them. Yes, and Fatima says electronic, you get the reminders from it. You are absolutely right there. I can't live without mine. And that so much so I've got my watch where the same things come up, so that I can discreetly get my messages while I'm with my clients, and don't need to look at my phone too often. So if you use an a paper diary, just need to refer to it often, and you probably write yourself notes and reminders similarly throughout it. But of course, need to refer to it often. If it's in the back seat of the car, it can't remind you that you've got to make a phone call or something like that. So just keep it close by. A colleague of mine had a client that was really having difficulties with their diary. So they literally got a piece of string, tied it to the diary, and tied it to the leg of the chair in the kitchen so that they wouldn't lose it. I just thought that was so good. This is the diary and this is where it lives. So you might not need to go to that extreme, but I just thought it was a perfect remedy for something that was obviously so stressful for this person. It wasn't stressful anymore because they knew exactly where their diary was. So as I'm saying here, I want you to literally put time in the diary for you to action those items, those important things that have come up after asking yourself those questions. Allocate time for it, because if you don't allocate the time, you'll get to the end of the day of gone, haven't done it. And before you know it, you're running to the post box before 6 o'clock to post that important document, and you've missed it, or you only just make it by the skin of your teeth after going through red traffic lights or something. So allocate the time in the diary for these things and stick to those allocated times, just as though you would stick to a doctor's appointment or a dentist. Or you wouldn't just go, no, not going to go to the dentist today, don't feel like it. You've made that commitment to the dentist and the doctor already, and you get up and you do it. So you should treat yourself with the same respect and get those things done. And this is another page of ours. It's very popular on the website. It's a weekly planner, so you can allocate time, as we're saying, for the whole week. You can have a look at your whole week, your whole 168 hours, and do your whole week. And that's basically what my printout is. I love this one because it's so pretty and has all the colors, has the half-hour time slots there. But you get the idea that you can see your whole week at a glance. So feel free to find that one on the website as well, to be able to share that one. I think Mary Lou might even be looking for it and pop it in the link. Thank you. Put it in the links in the chat as well in a moment. So we are running through the steps. We are up to step number 6 already, which is the maintenance tools. Thank you, Mary Lou. I haven't looked, but I'm sure that's it. Thank you. That's great. So that's the weekly planner. Print yourself a copy if you would like one. Maintenance tools. So we're talking about how can you make being organized a part of your everyday life. Like I said earlier in the session, organized people are that way because they deliberately use their times in particular ways. They make deliberate choices to do things at particular times. It doesn't just happen by fluke. It's something that we can work on. One good way that I like to do this to be able to stay organized and to plan your week and to have that nice flow in your week is to have that weekly review coming up. And I did mention this briefly before, and I did mention that I do it at about on a Sunday afternoon. I'll look up and see which week what I've got coming up. So just pretend that it's Sunday afternoon. I'll look at my week. Oh, good. Okay, I've got my Monday client. On my way to my client, I need to call my friend Marion. So I've got that in at 8:30 to do. And even before that, I need to print off the invoice to take to my client. So I know she likes to do that. And then I'll look at my afternoon client. And then if I've got any phone calls in the afternoon to do. And then Tuesday, somehow, I'm just making this up. Somehow I've double booked myself on Tuesday, and you can go, oh, I've got the doctors and I've got the kids' sport. I'm not going to have quite enough time to run from one to the other. I might ring the doctor and see if I can tweak that time, make it half an hour earlier so I can get to practice on time. So what you can do is plan out your time, how long it's going to take you to get there. Get the address, particularly if it's somewhere you haven't been before, or if you're going to a doctor, something like that. Make sure you've got your referrals and any other paperwork that you need to have with you. So you just go one day at a time, once a week, just to make sure that you've got time, as I said, in between appointments, you've got everything you need, all the kids have got their sports gear they need, and have it planned out. There's no other way to do this. You might go, oh, that sounds a bit over the top. Or how else are you going to remember to take your footy boots, or the mouth guard and all the stuff that kids need to take for their various sports? Someone needs to make the time to do it. So I used to do this on a Tuesday when our school newsletter used to come out. I would look at the school newsletter, see what dates are coming up for the week, and coordinate my week ahead, the week ahead preview. More like a review is backwards, isn't it? A week ahead preview, so that you can make adjustments. Like I said, if you decided, oh, I can't get from this place to this place, I haven't left myself enough time, this is how we can adjust it. And if you don't do that preview, you won't even realize until you're sort of walking out the door, and you're going to end up late to get to the kids' sport. So I highly recommend this to be a part of your everyday life, and definitely weekly planning to look forward at your week to see what you're coming up. And the busier we get, the more planning it takes. We were talking about the meal planning and prep before. I'm very lucky that most of the time I'm home by sort of 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Mary Lou and I catch up for a chat at 5 o'clock most days. So that means that I can get dinner ready after that. But if I was working in an office and not getting home till 6 or later, I would make more of an effort to have our dinners sorted out with doing that meal prep, exactly as we were talking about before, having the slow cooker on, or the crock pot, whatever you might call that device that you can just put your dinner in to cook over the whole day, and it's ready just to serve up when you all get home. So the busier you get, the more organized you sort of need to be, so that you're not forgetting things. Sometimes big deal if we forget things, or if we're late. A lot of these things aren't avoidable, and I'm not saying that we all need to be perfect and never forget anything. I'm talking about let's be able to spend some time deliberately on these important things, so that we're making time for those fun things to do in your life. Oh, I've lost my mouse. Oh, it's back again. Yeah, so making the time for those important tasks. Like if you want to join a knitting group, if you want to go and learn how to make beer, if you want to do some patchwork, let's free up the time in our week by doing all of these things, this decluttering that we were doing during our week, to have time to do it. And these have been some of the maintenance tools that we're talking about to be able to deliberately be an organized person and being organized with their time. So we've really had a look at, through our session today, having a good look at where all the things are coming from. Just not saying yes willy-nilly. We're saying yes deliberately to people that are asking us to do things. Yes, deliberately. It's worth my time. Yes, I do want to do this. It is a choice. It is worth putting on my to-do list. We also prioritized them. We delegated and we chopped off some of them. We gave some of the things to the kids. Finding other people in our community as well to help us out. Again, if you need some extra help, please reach out to somebody to be able to do that, because as I say, and I've been focusing on a lot, I help people in their homes. So, the washing, the meal prep, all of those things, it takes a lot of effort and time to run a home. And that's before we've even gone out to work or, running our own business. So it does take a lot of effort. So the more help we can get from other people, please do that, and don't just run yourself into the ground. We also looked at structuring our week to suit our energy, so that you can even plan a bit of time off in the middle of the week. If you find that you come to hump day, as they call it, it's should be a slump day really, that you haven't got energy by Wednesday, maybe Wednesday afternoon, you could go and have a hit of golf, rearrange yourself so that you can do that. And as I said, again, with that outside help, Mary Lou being my virtual assistant is just fabulous, so that I can go and spend hours and hours with my client, knowing that she's going to do all the admin. She will do the follow-up email to this today. She's done all of the work to lead up to the presentation today. So, get yourself some help, people, if you need it. And of course, we looked at how being organized needs to be a part of our daily life. It's just not something we do every now and then. Let's work on it each and every day. And to help you continue to do that and be organized, and we will have a little bit of time for some questions shortly too. The first workshop for the year is going to be our focus board workshop. And I just threw out my old one. Let me get my current one. One sec. Take it off the wall. Put my ears back in. This is my current focus board, although I'm going to redo it over the holidays, I think. This is the sort of thing that you end up with our focus board. If you'd like to come along to the session on the 14th of January, that's Melbourne time. So about the same time of day as this one started on the 14th of January. It's a Saturday for us in Melbourne. This will be a way for us, if you're still thinking, oh, I don't know what my priorities are, I've still got too much on my list to do, and come along to that focus board workshop, and we'll walk through how we can prioritize even more and really get focused on just that. I've got 12 projects on my board. I think that's still too many, but at least it's not 112. So, we've refined it, and we'll do that again. But please come along if you're still finding a little bit of difficulty as to how to spend your time. Mary Lou's put the link in to register, I'm sure, and also paperwork, decluttering, the Thursday the 20th. I ran out of words. Thursday the 19th of January, again at the same time, 10 a.m. Come along if you are struggling with your paperwork in your home office or just life in general. Come along and we will go through the same 6 steps as we did today, this space and time organizing system, and we will specifically look at paperwork around the home. And as a thanks to you for coming along today, I would love to offer you a 15-minute clarification chat if you would like to talk specifically about your time management and how I can help you. Happy to give you 15 minutes for free as a thank you for coming today. So Mary Lou has put all of those links in the chat there. There's the clarity call, the paperwork declutter, focus board online workshop, the weekly planner, and she also put a link to the brain dump as well. And if anyone's watching this on recording, because we will send this out to everybody, we will save those links as well, Mary Lou, please, and we'll send it out in the email when we send the recording this afternoon, if you just can make a note of those as well. All right, any final questions? Anything else in the chat? Just looking. And I'm going to stop my sharing. And if anyone has any specific questions, if they'd like to take themselves off mute and ask a question or put another question in the chat. And if you're game, thanks Fatima, good to see you again. I do always love to use my system, SYSTEM. It does keep us grounded, keeps me on track as well. And if you're game, let's do a photo. Who would like to turn on their camera and do a little photo? And we will use this as part of our promo to say, hey, thanks for coming today. And we can share it on our social media. Who's game? Who wants to show their beautiful smiley face? I'm going to smile anyway. Mary Lou, you and I can smile. 1, 2, 3. Let me know when you got it.
Thanks, Julie.
Lovely. Thank you. Any other questions before we finish off? Great. No, you're welcome. Thank you
from
Dana. And Fatima, I'm pretty sure you're just around the corner from me, so yell out. Thank you, Bill, for coming, our gold star student that's been to every one of our workshops this year. So great to have you. Yeah, Fatima, as I was saying, let me know if you want to catch up in the holidays and let's talk specifics for you. You are all welcome. Great to see you. As I said, we will share this recording. I'm going to share this on YouTube so others can see it. Yes, RR, whoever that is, has their hand up. Would you like to ask a question? No, and the hand is down again. Maybe they were just playing with the settings. Well, I thank you all for coming. We might wrap it up. Oh, just clapping. Lovely. I like the little clap. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, Dana's got a question, or clapping. It is a clap, isn't it? Rather than a hand up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any questions after today, feel free to reach out to me. You'll have my email details from all the correspondence we've been sending you, and look forward to seeing you for that first session, the January the 14th, which is a Saturday for us here in Melbourne, probably Friday evening for a lot of you. So we'd love for you to follow the links and register. We'll send those links out as well this afternoon with the recording. So thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Take care for now. Thank you.